Hey everybody, welcome to the All Juve cast. It's another match day live, and of course, this is the big one, the Derby d'Italia. We're going to be playing Merda, and this is a big one. And I got Antonio joining me for this one. Antonio, how you doing, man?
I'm awesome, Alberto. Thanks for having me back on. Finally made it after failed attempts.
Yeah. It's always a pleasure to have you on, man. And this is, a lot of Juventini anxious, nervous, excited all at the same time for this one. But I got to ask you, do you have any superstitions that you do on match days?
I'm not really well. Yes and no. I watch the big games with my 7-year-old little girl because always every time I've watched a game with her, we've always done well. So she's going to have to stay up late for this one tonight.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't really have many superstitions for match days, but gotta have the kit. That's really one thing. Gotta wear the kit. And today we got the whole family for this one in Juve gear. I got my daughter. My wife was even wearing a Juve hoodie. So it's, but always go stripes when we play Merda.
Yeah,
That's my one thing. When we play Merda, always gotta rock the stripes.
I've certainly
Um,
flipped it 360 with this orange number I'm sporting today.
yeah. So we've got the lineups. There was a lot of questioning going back and forth on a couple positions. Really, it was whether Weston McKennie was going to be fit, 100% ready to play. That was the big one. The other one was who was going to play at left wing back. Was it going to be Bernardeschi? Was it going to be Frabotta? And we've got the lineups in. And basically, we've got Szczesny in goal. You got Danilo, Bonucci, Chiellini, and Frabotta with Chiesa, Bentancur, Rabiot, Ramsey, Morata, and Ronaldo. Real quick off the top of my head, Frabotta or Bernardeschi. When I saw both of those, obviously Frabotta going up against Hakimi is a little nerve-wracking. Would Bernardeschi do better in that situation? Maybe. I don't know 100% to be honest with you. So maybe you go for Bota because it'll be a little more defensive minded. But the one thing that contradicts that is the fact that Juve in this hybrid system, because Ramsey's on that side, they're going to push through that wing. And all that happens on the opposite is Chiesa. He does his thing there, but Danilo really holds true to a three-man backfield, right? So Frabotta's kind of that pushing one. So it's kind of interesting in that sense. The other thing that stands out to me is Chiellini being on the left side rather than right in the middle when it turns into a three. But we know Bonucci cannot play that side center back role, right? Those are the quick things right off the bat. If if McKennie isn't 100%, should we still have put him in? I think you have to go with guys 100% fit in this one because it's such a huge match. So Antonio, take us through your initial reaction to this starting 11.
I think the best possible 11 he could have chosen tonight. I think he's picked the best one. Obviously, I'm concerned about the left hand side, but I would be concerned anyway because I think, as much as I hate to say it, he's a fantastic player. When he's on one, he would give any best left back in the world a good game. But I think Frabotta it's the most logical explanation. It's the most logical choice for it. I think he's more disciplined than Bernardeschi and he's used to playing that role. McKennie, I'm sad to see him not playing. I think if he was 100% fit, he would have started the game because he gives you that bit extra to say. But yeah, I agree with you. I wouldn't have started him because it is a muscle injury. It can come back at any time. And we don't want to be 20 minutes into the game when everything we've trained for, everything we've done obviously behind the scenes is all up in the air because you need to make an early change. So I think he's picked sort of the best possible 11 for me.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think this is the best 11 going into this match. Like I said, the one thing we got to watch out for is that left wing back position dealing with Hakimi. However, on the opposite front, from Juve's point of view, I think Chiesa is going to torch Young on the opposite side. I think none of their center backs concern me when it comes to Morata and Ronaldo. On the opposite end, you and I had a good discussion about Lukaku, and I don't think, honestly, like, he does well, but I see him disappear against the top clubs. But the question will be the way we've lined ourselves up. It really puts Bonucci up against Lukaku, which does worry me, because if Chiellini's going to be, and that's why we talked about it a couple seconds earlier, if Chiellini's on that left center back role, he's kind of supporting for Bota and off to the side, so he's going to be extended in a couple different areas. It takes him away from Lukaku. I do not like Bonucci matching up against Lukaku whatsoever. So the biggest miss for us is going to be De Ligt, because I think De Ligt would pocket Lukaku no problem. That's going to be one that kind of concerns me. Lautaro's been pretty good as well. He'll be something we have to watch out for. But honestly, man, I'm pretty optimistic here. A lot of predictions been called out so far. Everybody's been asking me my prediction. I haven't put it out yet because I've been flipping between two scores. But you and I talked earlier, and I had a dream. I had a dream last night. Usually you don't remember dreams, but I remembered this one. And I'm not going to reveal it until maybe the post-match podcast tomorrow morning, which will also be live at 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with my guest, Luca. But, man, it's an interesting one. And we got to talk about the history of this fixture, too. 224 matches they've faced each other. 105 wins for Juventus. 55 draws. And, the leading goal scorer in this fixture. We got Laurentius joining us, got a couple others. Does anybody know the leading goal scorer in the history of this fixture? We're going to go back to that one a little bit later. Think about it, because the history of this one is huge. So that's going to be the clue, is this 224 matches. So, yeah, think about that one. But, Antonio, what do you think? You got Merida at 37 points. 7 through 17 matches. Juve's at 33 points through 16. What do you think's going to happen? How do you think this is going to play out?
I think just quickly, just to go back to what you were saying with Bonucci against Lukaku. A couple of years back, I went down to Old Trafford to see Manchester United play Juve. Obviously Lukaku was still the Manchester United player. That was the game we won 1-0 with Dybala scoring. And seeing obviously the guys live, which obviously you don't get to see every weekend. Bonucci actually played against Lukaku and he done exceptionally well. So to say, but again, we need to see if it's still the Bonucci it was 2 or 3 years ago, and it's obviously up for discussion. In terms of how it might go tonight, we need to hit this game head on. The thing I'm confident about, we spoke about this off air just before we started the live feed. Juve are up for these kind of games 90% of the time. So the one thing that does scare me, and I've said it to you off air, is Rabiot. I just think sometimes the guy takes about 25, 30 minutes to get going. As I say, and it frustrates me because the physique the guy's got, he should be dominating midfield. So if he just had that extra bit of drive, he should be taking a game to the scruff of the neck. But I'm optimistic. I really am. We need to start winning. This is a must-win game for us, psychologically as well. We need to get back to winning ways, and obviously it sets us up perfectly for getting into the midweek game against Napoli.
Yeah, and this is the thing. The midfield. The midfield's a big question with this team all the time. It's what midfield do you go with? I had a really good discussion with a Juventino the other day, and we were just going back and forth. And I say, look, the way I see our midfield is 2 units, because we have guys that have strong similarities between one another. Yeah. So for myself, I would split them up, and I would say, like, one of your units could be McKennie, Artur, and Ramsey. And then what I would do is I would substitute the guys that are like-minded and that are somewhat similar. But I'd also put Kulishevsky as an option for when Ramsey leaves the match.
Yeah, me too.
I would swap Ramsey and Kulishevsky between each other. I would not put like a Rabiot there, or even a McKennie for that matter. I see Artur and matching up one another. I don't like a midfield when those two are in it together. So I would swap the two. I would put the two between one another. I also, like I said, Kulishevsky's the big one, but Rabiot, yeah, I don't know with Rabiot being in there on this one. My midfield would have had McKennie, but if he's not fit, we talked about it earlier, don't chance it.
No.
So my biggest thing is when you look at this lineup, it's shaping up that Rabiot is going to be next to Ramsey, but that actually puts him in the heart of the midfield. I'd move him to the opposite side so that you have Rabiot, Bentancur, who truly sits in the hole, and then Ramsey to the opposite side of him. That's how I would do it. So then technically what you're doing is McKennie is taking over Rabiot is taking over the McKennie role, right? And he's a big physical presence, so he could kind of be that box-to-box guy. That's what I'd like to see. But, the midfield's going to be one that goes on for us a while, man, the discussion. Artur, you think we should have started Artur?
Not really, no. I seen him very tired at the end of the game against Genoa, the Coppa Italia game. He looked dead on his feet, man. He really did. I think the way we're lining up in midfield also is to contain. Obviously, when you look at it, we don't have a natural playmaker in those kind of 3-man midfield with Fabio, Bentancur and Ramsey. Although Benta does come deep and try to play that role. With Inter, they play obviously with Brozovic, who's important for the way they play. So I think we need to get round about him and stop him playing. It'll be interesting to see how the first 20 minutes unfolds, because I think they will sit back. Typical Conte will sit back and just ball up to Lukaku and hope something works. They won't change their style of play. I don't think so anyway. The one thing I was interested in seeing, I thought there would have been a surprise tonight with Pirlo's selection. I thought Kulusevski was a big shout, actually, because I go back to the game against Lazio when they equalised in the last minute. That's one of the best games I've seen him play, and he was playing in the 3-man kind of trio in the middle, where he would obviously progress up the field, and he had a really good game, solid game. So I thought there would have been a solid shout for him actually tonight.
Yeah, Kulusevski is a good shout. I also, again, I think there's a lot that factors into it. Maybe the opponent, also the fact that it was Genoa, whatnot. I don't really know if that plays into Pirlo's mind. We know how high Pirlo rates Ramsey.
Yeah.
Right. So that's another thing as well. People that are joining us, this is live. I can hear some crackling. I'm not really sure. There's nothing on my end. I apologize, but this can happen sometimes with live feeds. Not really sure what's happening there on a microphone, but yeah, bear with us. So that's a good shout for Kulusevski. I think he can also do a lot of damage. We've talked about this too as a sub. And I think if he's used properly and he replaces Ramsey, that could be big as well. Ramsey has done well the past few matches. It's the execution in the final third. So we'll see where he's at today in terms of this match. But he does give us a lot. He knows how to create space for the other guys, and he knows how to attack space. I had him in my starting lineup. This was very, very close to my starting lineup, actually. The only difference in my lineup to the one I predicted to this was McKennie, because I thought McKennie was going to be fit based on reports leading up to it.
Yes.
But man, this is a big one. This is a big one. Always hard to predict what's going to happen in derbies, period. Let alone this one. I don't even care. Tactics, all that goes out the window. It's going to be a dogfight. You've got Vidal. You've got Conte. You know he's going to have these guys pumped up. You and I talked about it. Juve finds a way. They just do, right? Like, they find a way to get up for these big games. I expect the same. If I had to throw out a prediction of how this match was going to play out, I would probably say I think Merda will take the lead. I think Juve will then go ahead 2-1. And then I think Juve adds another. I think we go up 3-1. And then I think Merda puts a late push. They'll find one. It'll go 3-2. But it's not going to be enough. And I think Juve wins this one 3-2 is my call. Now, what's your call, Antonio?
Is that a sneaky insight to the dream you had last night, Alberto?
I'm not going to share that yet. We got to wait and see. But the dream was interesting, and that's going to be for the pod.
Listen, I don't care how we win. If it's pretty, I don't care. I can see us winning, and I'm not being totally biased here. We are Juventus. We need to win. Pirlo said it. We respect them, but we certainly don't fear them. I don't think they're a good side. I've said that all along. I think they're a very average side with some decent players and an overrated coach. I can see us winning this 2-1 tight, as I say, and I hope part of your prediction is wrong where we don't go behind, because I think we struggle with teams that sit back and park the bus, and they will do that tonight. They will.
Yeah.
We will. If they go in front, we will struggle, because Conte will try and protect that if that's the case.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say 2-1. That's my prediction.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Ken P's got a question. Does anyone know what type of knock McKennie picked up? I can't remember if it was muscular or whatnot. There was very little on it, though, to be honest. So yeah, Bonaparte Juventino, ciao Juventini. We're gonna win this 3-1. Fantastic. Love the call. Ken, is Big Mac involved in the build-up when Juve goes up 3-1? This guy's all about McKennie, and I love it. McKennie's been a great addition. I like it. Laurencia says, I hope it's going to be a repeat of that match where Higuain scored the last gasp winner. I don't know if I can take that with the old ticker here, if it's going to go that late. But I'll take it by any means. We've had a lot of good moments against this club. And we know our record, and I'm not going to talk about it too much recently against this side, but this is a big, big one for us. Again, where do you think, and people that are joining us live, you can join in too. Do you think Merda has the edge, Antonio, or do you think we have the edge going into this match? Because you know what Conte's going to do. You know he's a master motivator. He's going to get them going. But do they truly have the edge? Because I think, honestly, I still think we have the edge. Even if you look at where we are in the standings, it's up to them to knock us down. Otherwise, we're right back there where we need to be. And I think they're feeling that heat. And I think even Milan's feeling that heat. When we went into Milan and beat them, I think that was a big statement match for Juve. And now I think this one, again, if we take the 3 points in this one, I think that mental game starts to switch and the momentum starts coming our way. But who has the edge going into this one, Antonio?
I think you touched on it a couple of minutes ago. Their form just goes out the window when it comes to the derby games. Obviously, no different here with this one because it's the biggest game in Italy. I think they're spot on. I really do. I think a few podcasts ago you did mention if we are going to lose Scudetto this year, whoever's going to be in the run in front of us, they need to come and take it away from us. They need to come to us and take it away from us. Milan had the first bite of the cherry and they failed. As I say, a lot of people have got into this fits. I don't understand why, to be honest with you. So let's see what they're made of tonight. Because again, I can't stress highly enough, I think they're a very average side, and that's not because I don't particularly like the team. I just think, judging player by player and how they play, I don't rate them whatsoever. I think we've got momentum, we've got the drive, we've got the better players. We just need to stay focused and get in front. We need to take the lead and get in front, and then obviously you'll see it. I think we'll see what we're made of and what they're made of.
Yeah, I agree, of course. And we've got some comments coming in from the guests joining us live. If Juventus plays the way we played on the road against AC or Barcelona, we have the edge. Absolutely. Ken's got, they need to first prove that they can win these big games. Juve owns that mystique. Exactly. That's exactly what we're talking about. Inter needs to prove that. Francisco talking about the matchup between Hakimi versus Frabotta, saying that's not good. What do you think? We talked about it a little earlier on when we were going through the lineups. Bernardeschi was one of the projected players in that position. Honestly, I think it's flip a coin between the two, to be honest with you. That's a really, really tough call. I think either one of those guys would struggle, to be honest. The other thing looming around is Danilo, Rabiot, Bentancur, and Kulishevsky will be out of the Supercoppa match versus Napoli if they pick up a yellow in this one, which is highly likely in these derbies that you'll probably see multiple of those guys. Bentancur is like a lock. He's not going to play in the Supercoppa. He will get a yellow in this game. That's like a lock. Danilo, I could see him getting a yellow too. Rabiot, easily. Kulishevsky will probably be safe because he's going to be making his way through the bench, and I don't see him picking one up. So, yeah, that's another one of the things looming. But in this matchup, Hakimi versus Frabotta, I think you went with somebody that's a little more stable defensively than Bernardeschi. And I think that's kind of, I don't know if it's right or wrong, if somebody would have preferred the experience of Bernardeschi, but honestly, I think it's a coin flip call. What do you think, Antonio?
Yeah, I think just to answer Francisco's question there, I think obviously when we were on the ball, when we're going to be on the ball tonight, we will predominantly attack down our right-hand side to expose Ashley Young against Chiesa, much like we did with AC Milan with Theo Hernandez. So I think the way Pirlo set up, we're going to have the majority of the ball. We're going to be in possession most of the time, so we'll take the game to Merda. So I think the game will be played down our right-hand side to obviously take away Inter's attack with Hakimi. And obviously, if it's a quick turnover, we need to be on the spot. So that, to me, proves why he's picked Frabotta more than Bernardeschi, because he'll stay, I think Frabotta will stay on the left-hand side pretty blocked, to be honest. I don't see him attacking much, just in case there's a quick turnaround and obviously Merda go one of those counter-attacks. But I think, I definitely believe most of the game will be played down on the right-hand side to expose Ashley Young. I'll be interested to see Chiesa in the first 10 minutes as well, just to see if he shook off that knock against Sassuolo, because that looked a nasty one. And if anyone's played football, an ankle injury can come back pretty quickly. So I'll be interested to see if he shook that off and if he's on one, because if he's on one, then we all know what can happen.
Yeah, that's a good show too, Antonio. Good show for sure. It's a tough one. We could sit there and speculate between the lineups quite a bit, and it'll always be tough. Laurentius coming in saying, I talked to an Interista friend and felt like this game has a draw written all over it. They've been in good form and have the home advantage, but we've got more quality in almost every department. That's right, but quality only goes so far. You got to work for it. And I stick by what I say, that Juve gets up for these matches. And I feel the pressure is truly on Merda. They have to beat us. Being up on us by 4 points in the standings right now doesn't mean much, because they still have to beat us, just like Milan had to and wasn't able to. So I still say it's with us. Francisco, in regards to Frabotta over Bernardeschi, he says Chiesa on that wing with Demiral at the back behind him at right, and Danilo as a wing back opposite of Hakimi. That's an interesting shout too, for sure. I think you almost suffer at Demiral playing at that position too, because if a guy gets going on him, he's not the quickest too, and the versatility required in Pirlo's setup there kind of hurts him sometimes. You almost want Demiral as where one of Bonucci or Chiellini is playing today, right? But it's a tough one. That's definitely a good shout too, Francisco, for sure. Laurentius coming in with Bernardeschi, no better than Frabotta left wing back, but that's just me. Yeah, it's a tough one. Ken, prediction, Rabiot gets a yellow before Bentancur. I don't know about that one, man. Bentancur's picking them up like they're going out of style. And then Colin joining us. Ciao, Colin. Nice to see you here joining us. Well, everybody, we are coming close to 11:30 here. And, man, we're going to wrap this up. I gave my prediction. I said it's going to be Juve winning 3-2. And look at this. Priv and Interista joining us up on the stream. My God, man. And I know everybody that's been joining us, I can hear the crackling. We've got some mic things, but this is live. Anything can happen. I apologize. Not sure what's going on as the setup's all the same. And Antonio's been a guest multiple times. So this happens. But guys, this is a big one. Priv that's joining us. You're a brave man, Priv, but get the hell out of here. We're enemies today, okay? Juve all the way. I'm calling it 3-2. I had a dream. I told Antonio about it. We're going to keep it until the post-match podcast tomorrow morning. But you guys, we got a couple more predictions coming in, 2-2. But he hopes he's wrong because, of course, we all want the 3 points. We want the win. Enjoy the match, everybody. This is going to be a wild one. There's a lot of storylines around it. And then we got the Super Copa against Napoli right after. I know a lot of talk today, too, about Mandzukic. How can we not talk about Mandzukic? There's a lot of people calling Mandzukic a snake for going to AC Milan. I do not feel he's a snake, okay? He was frozen out by Juve. End of discussion. He moved along. He's taking the job. It's fine. Yeah, absolutely. Nothing but love for Mario. He can go there. It is what it is. I personally think we have a bigger snake on our current roster if we really want to get into it. But that's it. Mandzukic is a small story, but people that want to call him a snake, I cannot agree. Yeah, you guys, honestly, big match. Wherever you're tuning into this one, enjoy it. It will be an emotional roller coaster. You can almost guarantee that when these two teams meet. I see us getting the points. Chiesa versus Young. I think we make great progress on the right. Absolutely, Colin. We talked about it earlier. I think Chiesa is actually going to torch Young. So whatever we lose, if we lose on the Hakimi-Frabota battle, I think we're going to make up it in miles on the right side in quality there. So, yes, Antonio, who's going to be the game changer in this match for Juve? As we both called them winning.
I'm going to say that man with the number 7 in his jersey because this is his stage. I think he's been absent the last couple of games, so this one's for me. It's going to be Ronaldo. It's going to be a big game tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We know he's had some mixed outings lately, but he is the ultimate X factor, and I expect him to show that today. I expect us to win. I expect him to have a goal. I also expect Morata to get one, and probably a third coming from Freddie Church. 3-2, Juve wins. That's my call. Everybody, enjoy the match. Get your comments. Make sure you please like the video, subscribe, all that. It goes a long way. I appreciate all the support. Enjoy this one. And, of course, I'm coming back to you to a post-match podcast that will also be live tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, where you can tune in and join and get all your comments in on this one. And then we'll see whose predictions were right. And the answer to the question, who is the leading goal scorer in the history of this fixture? Antonio, did you have a guess to throw out there?
Alberto, you know I'm very poor with these predictions, so I'll leave this one to you.
It was Omar Sivori with 13. 13 in this one. ADP, not far off considering the history of this fixture. 9 goals from ADP, but 13 for Sivori. And there you have it. Enjoy the match, Juventini. Be back to you with the post-match podcast tomorrow. Forza Juve, fino alla fine. Ciao.